Okay, sorry, we had a problem, little issue with the connection. So yeah, I was talking about the this example, which can be also really long to do in V9 because I need to create the sweep one by one from this section. So it can be a simple circle. So I have to apply this circle on this rail, that one, that one, that one. So we decided to create a dedicated feature, which is super sweep. And I just have to select my rails directly there, plus the section, and automatically the software will create one by one the sweeps um, in few seconds to avoid me to create uh, the sweeps one by one, and I get everything created in one click. So this can be really useful, and then if you want you can even modify the sweeps in the tree because you have one feature, one item, I mean, for one creation. So if you want to have that one, for example, with another diameter, you can even change the section you used in that one. If you want to have like squared or another shape, this can be useful. Okay, another example from a sphere. Again, we go in the jewelry bench. So I can use with the V10, I can use any objects I created, and I can select, for example, this one, which is ring from object, and the software will create my ring in few seconds. So you can see that I created this sphere, I deformed it, and I have with this feature the possibility to change the ring size. You can change also the position of the object if you want to have thinner or bigger. So it can be done directly in the feature, or you can do it before through the move rotate scale I created. So this can be also a nice feature you will enjoy in V10. Really easy to use. Any objects can be created from the center. It can be a cylinder, it can be sweep, etc., etc. And again, I still have the parametric inside, so you can even come back in the tree and you can create different ring from this feature front of your customer to be sure that you fit with the needs and to be sure he likes or she likes the creation. Something which is really important in V10, and you have all the details on the dedicated page which describes this incredible version. We have a new feature which is 3D save. 3D save means that you can today with 3Design V10 protect your file. Any files you created in 3Design can be protected. We have a dedicated option which is available in V10 by default. So it means that if I have this ring and I want to protect it, I mean that I want to be sure that if I save the VTF, the 3Design file, if I want to secure it and if I want to be sure that this license or this license, I mean, I work with my colleague or I work with a dedicated company, for example, the prototyping company I work with, I have the possibility now in V10 to secure the file from this option. So you see you have file, and inside I can select, I can add which license will have the possibility to open this file. So if I protect it and you add it according to the license, so for sure you have to know the license number from your the colleague or the company you work with. So for that it's easy to do. You have just to go on about. You ask the person you want to work with the number of the license and you protect. So it can be a manual adding there, or you can also import if you have to work with several companies. You can work with a CSV file from Excel, for example, and you can have your database with all the licenses you want to allow the modification on this file. And if you don't have this authorization, it means if you are not in the list or if you are not in the number you allowed to open this file, when the user will try to open the VTF, you will have automatically a dedicated message that this is not possible to open the VTF because this file is protected. So this is a really good advantage. We know that your jobs and all the 3D files you created are really important. They have a huge value, so it's important for you to protect them. And through the 3Design V10, we allow that with the 3D Save feature included by default in 3Design. So if you have, if you want to have more information, everything is explained there. And again, it's really easy to do. You just have to add the list you want to work with, or you can add manually the licenses you want. I wanted to speak about the customization of your software. We included more options in 3Design V10. Now you have the possibility to change the size of the icons if you work with a 4K screen. If you want to have a bigger text, we can change the icons, we can change the size of the text. We can even change also the sizes of the points, the lines you have in the sketch. Also the same with Shaper. We have a dedicated area with the price management. It means that you can add your prices created again on Excel file, CSV file, and you have automatically the prices included in 3Design. So when you work with dedicated gold or dedicated stones, it works directly with the CSV you included in V10, and you have automatically the prices when you want to analyze the final price of your creation. So this is really useful in V10. We have also now the possibility to work with some new features we have on the right click. Let me show you some examples. That one. Okay. So the right click is really useful now because we have more options, especially when I have to do jobs. I need to have the same value, the same tools applied, or if I want to do approximately the same job, for example, for the three objects I have in front of me. So easily you can see that I have, for example, the extrusion to do. I can say that I want to have both sides extrusion, so 0.8, and on this, it's not both sides, I will just put only like that, okay. And I want to repeat the exact same thing on the object I have on the left. So I just have to say, repeat last edited, and you see right click there and you have extrusion on the top list, and automatically you have the same value applied than before on a different object. It's a big time saving because you don't have to put the same value than before, so you have two things which are important. the new things we have, which is keep last field values as default. Then you have the exact same values, for example, the Z, which is the negative direction for the extrusion, and the sweeping distance. And even if you change it, it will be 1.2 for the next time. And the second thing is that I repeat the same feature with the right click, and it can be also applied on a shortcut, because you know that you can also customize your shortcuts through file, sorry, I clicked too fast. So you go on you go on tools, customize, and then you have all the features with the possibility to modify the shortcuts next to. So for example, if I go on edit, you have the repeat last edited. It can be Control R, for example. And then when I select my object, I say Control R, and automatically I have the last items I used, the last feature I used with the same value than before. And this allows you to create something really easily. So if, for example, I continue my job with offset extract border like that, with maybe that one. I select this border, I put, like, for example, 0.3, I keep the last value. I select my object, Control R, I just have to select the face, I still have the 0.3, I select that one, Control R, I select the face I want to work on, and I validate. And you see, quickly I created the 3 objects, and it can be also something I can add, like I want to pull back this, so it will be on Y, maybe 0.2, both sides, validate. I select my border, Control R, I select my border, Control R, and then I can do my Boolean operation on each object. So this is really easy through the right click, through the repetition. I don't have to each time type the value. I have just to be focused on what I want to work on. I use my Control R, I set it before, and you just have to repeat the Boolean operation again. You see Control R and validate. And this is really, really useful. So I have the right click again, last edited, repeat last edited with a list of items I used before. We have 10 items that I used before. So this again can save a lot of time, especially when you have to repeat the same things in your project. Okay, one last thing with the V10, which is the super action. You can see that in the V10, all the new features that we have, you have a little diamond next to. It means that we created the features in V10 through the new bench, which is super action. It means that any users are able to create new features according to your daily use, according to your habits, the specific thing you want to apply on your creation. So it means that in 3Design you can create your own tools with dedicated process. So I need to explain you something. For example, let me explain you a quick super action. So for example, I want to create 2 tube sweep. Let me show you this, which will be one circle and a second circle like that. So usually when I have to create 2 sweeps, I need to create the rail, I need to create the circles I want to use, and I have to follow the step, which is I select the rail, I select the section, which is the first one, and I do the exact same thing with the rail, the sweep, and the section. From that, I forgot something in my... Okay, voila. So for that, I want to just have to say precise for that one. So you see, it's each time I need to follow steps, I need to be sure that everything is clean. I click precise, I select my section, etc. And at the end, I want to do a Boolean operation to create this kind of creation. So for example, I have to do a pendant, or I need to create this tube sweep for the specific ring because I want to have the sweep empty. So you see that I have the different steps directly in my tree there, which takes around 2 minutes to do. Imagine that if we save the steps as a feature, you will not have to repeat that each time. It means that I have to do the sweep, I have to select my section, I have to do the Boolean operation, etc. Through the super action, I just have to create one time the process as you recorded it, and I have to save it as a new super action. So when I click directly on that, I create my super action. You see that we have a dedicated interface with inside the process, which is in fact all the steps one by one, and you can decide which material, which section you want, which size of the circle you want, and everything can be setted, and you select the features, you select the values you want to have inside your tool. You compose your own tool. Everything is customized because you have the fields from the values. So, for example, if you want to have the final material, which will be the Boolean operation material, you can also create that one in case you don't want to have in pink. By default, it will be pink. You want to decide the external size of the ring, you can even create dedicated sections. So you say external diameter. Oops, I clicked on validate. I repeat again. Okay. Voila. Okay, I have that one, so I said external diameter. Voila. And also I just have to say I want to pick my curve, so this will be sketch, and this is the path I want to select. Okay. So this is how I compose my tool. So you have easy things, you just have to follow the steps you have in the tree, and one by one you compose your own tool, which will be saved automatically after you clicked on the green there, with also something which can be interesting for you. You can create your own icon. So for the moment we decided to have that one with the specific color around, so this will be the icon with tube sweep. But you can see that on the right side I created one with a snake, which will be the final super action I use for the tube sweep. So easily, when you created the steps from this first creation and you recorded it, after when I create a new file, for example, that file, for example, with 3D, up, 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 voila. I just have to select my 3D curve. I click on the tube sweep I created before, and automatically you see I have this, which is my tools I created with the main circle, the second circle. I can change the diameter, and automatically the software will change. So I don't have to create the same process each time because I have the tool created in my super action.